He is one of Zimbabwe's leading musicians, singer, and performer, Africa's iconic figure, a prolific songwriter whose poetic prose, accompanied by his proverbial melodies, taunt and haunt the mind as the listener is challenged to decipher the hidden meaning to his lyrics. Even though his music is sung predominantly in his Shona vernacular, he fuses Ndebele and sometimes the English language to express the depth of his mind, feelings, and senses. His catchy beats have lured audiences and revelers throughout Africa and beyond. The legendary Tuku, as he is affectionately known from his legions of fans, is currently one of his annual international tours in the United States. Mukoma Oliver Mtukudzi, welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I know that it's been over 40 years with you in the business and you're still going strong. How do you keep yourself going strong?
Well, I presume and I guess God has got something to do with it.
Right. Now, we know that you started your career somewhere in Highfields. For those that don't know, it's a high-density suburb in Zimbabwe. And in those days, I think it was 1977, around there where you had released a song called Zandi Momotera. And I think you also collaborated with the other Zimbabwean great musician, Thomas Mapfumo, when you had a band called the Wagon Wheels. Was this already Tuku music, or this was music in the making? And how was it for a young black African?
Well, I am the last person to know that the music is Tuku music, because I didn't label my music Tuku music.
My
fans did that.
Right.
So I guess Tuku music had already started then.
Okay, so I think maybe for the fans to understand that you have very many fans all over the world now, they dance to your music. They obviously don't always understand the lyrics, but there is a catchy thing that is within your music. I think for Zimbabweans, they would think it's the drum, katekwe, if they call it, the kore sound, and then you fuse mbakanga. So how would you define your music?
Well, my definition of my music, my personal definition is African music, right, born of Zimbabwe.
Right.
But when I had my own research, why people call it Tuku music, is because they are right that there's a fusion of different styles in every song.
Right.
And it is true, because I'm very experimental. I would like to see how it would sound,
right,
when I fuse katekwe and chiti, we fuse katekwe and bakumba and so on, different styles of Zimbabwe. And yes, that's where the Tuku music element comes from.
Okay, and believe me, you have not made a mistake. Every time you play, even in my sleep, I know that that's Tuku. And I guess that's why fans always end up saying Tuku music.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
Anyway, you've also received a lot of accolades and awards. And recently, this past Sunday, Afropop inducted you in the Hall of Fame. And before that, you've received the Cora Award for the Best African Male Artist Lifetime Achievement Award. You've received the Real Award. You've been made the Cultural Ambassador with Zimbabwe Tourism Association. You've also been a UNICEF ambassador, you know, for Eastern and Southern Africa. Can you just briefly describe your work as the ambassador of UNICEF?
Well, as an ambassador, as a UNICEF Goodwill ambassador, I concentrate more on HIV and AIDS on children.
Right.
My job really is to inspire those who are on the ground doing the job, either to help these kids or find source drugs for them and so on. And I'll be there to inspire everybody,
right,
to do the job, and so that at the end of the day, it benefits the children affected or infected by HIV and AIDS.
Okay. Now, we know that you also recently celebrated your 60th birthday, and personally, you have 60 albums.
61 to be precise.
61. Well, I was going to put it one album for each year. But anyway, that's a great achievement. I mean, you can say every year you were dropping an album. But then obviously you started playing music later
Well,
on.
the average was like 2 albums a year.
And it means
Yes.
that music is your passion. You feel me. One of your songs that you play, and it's part of the introduction that you make, you say we are from Zimbabwe, and when we feel, we cry. When we celebrate, when we are frustrated, we play through music. And then I know that you've created Pakare Paya, which is
Yes.
like a music sanctuary actually for those
Yes.
young and upcoming musicians. And this is in Norton, your home
Yes.
area. What exactly happens there, and who are the people that come to Pakare?
Well, in fact, the inspiration that made me think of coming up with such a thing is the problems that I faced when I started.
As a musician
As a
yourself.
musician is still around, and the problem of attitude from parents to children, still around.
Where
and-
they
and-
said music was not for
Yeah,
a
in
career.
fact, not only music. Whatever you want to do, parents don't want you to do what you want to do.
right.
They want to impose either their
wishes.
failures or their ambitions on you.
I know they want you to be a
Is it?
teacher, a lawyer, or a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. and
So-
yet the child is born with something different.
Right.
And children end up being sent to school for the wrong reason.
Right. And forced to learn.
And forced to learn what they don't have.
Right.
Instead of going to school to acquire information to enhance what they already have.
True that.
So Pakare Paya Arts Center is a facility to have space for youngsters or elderly people who would come and showcase what they can do best, not to force them to be what they want. Some of them, they come looking for fame.
Right.
And we correct them that no, you don't do it for fame, you don't do it for money, you have to do it because it's you have to do it. And God doesn't duplicate talent. It's you alone, and there's no better you than you.
Of course. And I see you. I personally have discovered a few of some of your, the kids that come there. I know Brian Kadengu, who's a prolific guitarist and singer, and there's so many
Yes.
Munyaradzi. So I keep watching and I say, wow, this is something that, at least if the rest of Africa can get together.
Yeah, I'm
and
glad.
discover.
I'm glad. I'm getting to realize fruits from the center while I'm still alive.
Yeah, and it's the best way of sharing. It's not that, after you're dead and gone and then people want to recreate. It's right now. This is when
Yes.
people can feed from your talent. So, in your lyrics, I've often been asked, what is he trying to say? From my friends out here, and I tell them I understand, but if I describe or explain to them the description, the words, it doesn't make sense. So I always say, forget about it. But you have a way of describing it in one word to the international artist audiences you play for. Are you a poet before you're a musician?
Well, a musician, a composer.
Right,
You can't be a music composer without being a poet.
right.
You still have to come up with a poem,
Yes.
then add a tune to the poem. So, to answer your question, yes,
But
I'm also a poet.
your poems now, for those that don't understand your lyrics, are very prophetic because they are real life situations, but taken and summarized in a very compact language, but very deep, because when you,
Well.
I'll take for instance, when you say patashika pano pamatero, so you spend your time rising, and then when you find out you get up there, there's
Yeah.
nowhere else
To go, you have
except down. And I'm saying, who thinks like that?
well, I mean, that's the beauty of the language,
Right.
of an African language. I guess all African languages are the same,
Right.
When I write my music, I'm proud of my language, that's first and foremost.
It shows. Yes.
And I try and because I know I'm going to record this. I try and record the proper Shona so that the language doesn't die. Even if I'm gone, people can always play what I said, and they can always relate to it again and again and again. So our languages are not inferior at all.
That's true, and I'm glad that you pointed out that way, because even when you sing in your soul, you have that soul. There's a tendency of the young and upcoming who would then mispronounce the words, you know, in a different way than what we normally speak. But you sing it and pronounce it just the way it's supposed, properly.
How it's supposed to be pronounced.
So I think maybe it's the part of the soul that you need to have to be able to deliver it that way.
Yes, and in fact, and to just understand why you're a singer, why you're an artist.
Okay, so I realize also when you write, you are taking note of what's going on around the people, and like a preacher, you do not
everything comes
point.
from the people.
You do not point.
It comes from the people, and you give it back to them.
Right.
Because that's the duty of an artist, to actually notice and speak about things that people are not realizing.
And maybe not talking about, but after you present it, you know, like in church, sometimes people joke and say, "Oh, it feels like the preacher was talking about me," when it was preaching to the whole congregation. So it's that comes out from your music, and a lot of people have misconstrued it to make it mean this way or that way, and you've always come up and said, "Well, I saw it in my own way, and I said it in my own way." So have you been confused? I mean, have people been confused? And
not really. Not really. I mean, a good song is where the listener is able to use the song.
Right.
Then that's a good song, because that's the purpose of song. It is supposed to heal your heart, and the way you understand the song, the way it heals you, is the best way.
True.
But it might not be the same way it heals the next person.
Yeah, right.
So when you write a song, you're not writing a song for Zimbabweans because you're a Zimbabwean. No, you're writing songs for the people, because talent is supposed to heal, give life and hope to the next person.
Yes, wherever
whoever it is, you see.
Yeah.
And some people might not understand what I'm talking about. Even back home in Zimbabweans might not understand a single line.
No, it's true.
See? But at times it's not about the words, it's about the feeling.
Right.
How it gets to you, and how it approaches your heart. At the Pakare Paya Art Center, I always talk to the youngsters and say, "Look here, if somebody comes to you and say, 'Wow, your song is a beautiful composition,' that's not a good comment at all. Right. How did he find out it's a composition?"
Okay.
And because it means he has noticed and realized that you created this song for him.
Right.
You don't mean what you're saying, but you just want to make it beautiful for me.
So it's supposed to be like a gift.
So a song, the right comment is supposed to, hey, listen to this song. Have you heard what he's saying?
Right.
Oh, okay, I don't even understand a single word, but this song means, it tells me a story.
Right.
That's a good song.
Okay. You're amazing. So now we'll go back to the lyrics again, because I'm not over with that. I always feel like there are moments where you capture happiness, extreme joy. You capture even child abuse. You capture death, and you capture even oppression or anything that happens in society. And then you manage to match it up with the sound of the music. So you've already explained, I don't know why I'm even going back there. You say it's the feeling.
It's the feeling.
So the deliverance will be felt.
The way I come up with my songs, it's the first thing is to have the topic.
Right.
What am I going to talk about? And from there on, you come up with lyrics to that topic. And this overall sense of that poem gives me an idea of what kind of a tune do I have to put there. And to come up with a tune is how the language is shaped. how would I say this line to that person?
Right.
When I'm not singing, how do I say it?
Right.
And that gives me an overall idea of how I should sing it. And from there on, it becomes a song.
A song.
Because a song mustn't sound like, I don't mean what I'm saying. It's like you're talking about your deceased mother and you're smiling.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that. You don't say it like that when your mom is dead. How do you say it when your mom is dead?
Right.
That way will give you the correct harmony. And instrumentation is just a flavor to what you're singing. So everything just falls into place. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I was going to say 2 days ago, which was on Wednesday, sadly we lost yet another Zimbabwean musician.
Well, that was shocking.
Yeah, and I believe she also worked
Shocking
with
news.
you at one point.
Yes, I've performed with her several
Several
shows.
times.
Yeah.
A month ago, maybe two, Kenya Shambo,
Kenya
who was
Shambo, yes.
also one of your long-time band members.
percussionist, yeah.
And then obviously some years ago, your own son, because you had groomed him to be such a perfect musician, and each time we listened to his music, you know, we found that.
Well, yeah, it is really shocking how the rate of how people are dying, you know.
Right.
And as artists in our art fraternity, yeah, it's really shocking. It's a shock, and 2013 has just come up with a lot of stress in the industry.
Right. But you keep going. Now.
Yeah, life goes on.
Yeah.
Life goes on. But hey, yeah, it's really it's sad. It's so sad.
Issue. Now, you obviously said 61 albums. I don't know when you decide to call it quits, but this is your food. It's your soul.
Well, for your own information, Fungai, I'm not doing a career here,
Right.
where you can say, today I'm off, or next day, no, I'm not doing a career. I'm doing who I am.
Right.
I'm yet to decide what I want to be in life.
Mm-hmm. So you still going strong and
I
taking
can't run
your
away
path.
from myself.
Right. That's good to hear. Now, besides your own music, do you have any other music of, people that inspire you as well, that have played before? I don't know if I heard who might be one of your favorites. I don't know. Love to.
Well, I don't have a favorite artist, but I have favorite arts. Because any artist is unique, is different. He's got what I don't have. And there's no way I can think and try and criticize an artist, because what he does, I can't do it.
Right.
You see? So every song for me, it's meant to touch my heart. It's not for competition. No,
Right.
it's meant to touch my heart.
But so generally, music speaks to you.
Oh,
and
speaks
you
to
love
me.
music.
Yes, I love music, and whatever these artists do, they amaze me, because even at Pakarepai Art Center, these youngsters who come and beginners who are starting today, they amaze me because, hey, what they have, I don't have it.
Right.
And I've been 40 years around doing it, and I'm thinking, how come I never thought like this?
I know you've collaborated with so many other artists in Africa and abroad.
Yes.
Eric Wainaina, when
From
you
Kenya,
sang the
yes.
song Twende. I know Susanna Wio.
Yes.
South Africa, you have Steve Dyer and Ringo and so many others.
Pindamcha.
You see, so this is something that you like to do time to time.
Well, I think collaborations are healthy, especially for us as artists, because you get to learn what you didn't even know from the other artists.
Right.
And it's also healthy for our fans. My fans will gain when I do a collaboration. Will will discover a new artist. I mean, it's profitable for everybody, collaboration. So I encourage collaborations.
And mostly when you put your touch to it, always your sound is very distinct, even when you're playing a different kind of tune, you know, from a different place. But when you come in, we always feel like, okay, this is...
well, that's what I'm trying to encourage youngsters, that they shouldn't sound like somebody else.
You should sound like yourself.
They have something that nobody else has got.
That's true.
So if they stick to who they are, they will always win and they won't have any competition at all. They'll always flavor differently.
That's true. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to share your experience, your music, your joys, your passions with us. And in closing, we're going to ask you to do what you do, to share with us some music.
Thank you.
We're going to just grab the guitar. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to hear a song from Tuku.
Tinekutambirai mauya, tinekutambirai matitsika, tekutambirai mauya, tinekutambirai matitsika. Tinekutambirai mabuya, tinekutambirai nemaoko maviri, tinekutambirai masvika. Tinekutambirai mabuya, tinekutambirai nemaoko maviri, tinekutambirai matitsika. Musha ungave musha, musha musha navaenzi. Musha ungave musha iwe, musha musha navaenzi. Kunyanye mima kokwa, kunyanye mima titsika, kunyanye mima kokwa, atikanganwe nemivango yawo, tinekutambirai masvika, tekutambirai mabuya, tinekutambirai nemaoko maviri, tinekutambirai matitsika. Ungave mutema, mutsvuku, mupfumbu, muchena wekoko, tatenda matitsika. Ungave mutema, mutsvuku, mupfumbu, muchena wekoko, tatenda mugodzoka. Musha ungave musha, musha musha navaenzi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That tender
Thank you very
spirit.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. This was Oliver Mtukudzi, affectionately known as Tuku from Zimbabwe. He's right here with us in Sahara TV. Stay tuned. We're going to have more programming.